The Meta Quest Plus trial comes with all Quest 3 and Quest 3S headsets. But what exactly is it? And is it worth your time? Let's dive right into it. Now, when you finally get your hands on the new Meta Quest 3S or original Quest 3, then most likely, besides a free included game, you will also often receive a 3-month trial for what is known as Quest Plus. And even for those who already owned a Quest 3 before, then you also probably still have a minimum of 1 month for free at your disposal. But firstly, what exactly is it? Now, Meta Quest Plus is basically the official subscription service for your Quest headset that directly gives you access to a big library of over 20 games. And these you can all play on day one, while they also give you 2 new titles each month to change up the roster, meaning that the longer you have it, the more games you can actually play on it. However, if you at some point stopped your subscription, for example after your free trial ended, you will of course also not be able to jump into these games anymore. But maybe even more important in general is to start on how you can see if you already have access to this, and if not, how you can unlock it for free. So go on and put on your headset and head over to the Meta store page. Then you want to click on the profile icon in the top right corner to open up the menu where you will find all the settings that we need. Because here in the subscription tab, you can see that I have Quest Plus already activated and that I can manage my subscription from within this too. However, if you don't see this yet, you might first have to confirm some personal information so that you can fully use it, which will also give you a clear indication of how long your trial will last, which is either 3 months or 1 month for free. But once this is all set up, it is time to head over to the Meta Quest Plus tab itself and see what it is all about. Here, you will first see a basic explanation of the program, with underneath the 2 specific games for that month. In this case, that is Warplane's World War I Fighters and Space Folk City. So if either of those interests you, then also make sure you always redeem them on time, since you can see with the icon next to it, as well as on the top right of the page, that these 2 apps will be changed out in about 9 to 10 days for the new ones. But the real interesting stuff is when we click on the big blue button that says Browse Content. Because here, if you go to See All, you will have a nice overview of everything that is available. And all these games are part of the standard game catalog, so these will always be there even if the month has passed. And Meta also adds new experiences in here every now and then, so you can expect that this only becomes bigger in the future. But let's say you found a game you like, for example Green LVR, then all you have to do is click on the Press Redeem button, after which it automatically starts installing on your headset. With all that is left is just to jump straight into the experience and enjoy it to the maximum. Now, while tempting, it might not be the best idea to directly install all the games that are here, because in that case, your storage will be full in no time. Instead, just click on the ones that interest you and read the description or check out a couple of trailers. Because worst case, if you don't like a game, you can always uninstall it later anyways. So trying out as much as there is available is definitely the way to go. But that gets us to the most important thing that we should talk about to know if Quest Plus is really worth it. And that is of course the games itself. Luckily, Meta put some absolute bangers in here, so let's take a deeper look at the must-plays of this list, with the first one being one of the biggest VR titles ever made, named Asgard Draft 2, because this almost alone already makes it worth it for itself. And in here, you will be playing in an epic open-world RPG that will easily take you over 100 hours to fully complete. This includes things like parkouring across levels, do some detailed combat to take out your enemies, as well as some massive boss fights. And that all while driven by a deep narrative and some high quality graphics, making this overall the must play game for any Quest user. But if this might be a bit too much dedication to a single game, then there's also things on Quest Plus like Red Matter, because while it is a lot shorter, it is this game and its sequel named Red Matter 2 that are known to have one of the highest end graphics of all Quest 3 games. This goes from the beautiful outer space environments to the stuff you will be interacting with and everything in between. But besides the pretty visuals, at its core, you will be solving some puzzles here while passing through the story mode and also having the occasional combat. So if you want to see what your headset is truly capable of what it can put out, then this is pretty much the way to go. But another amazing title that is part of the standard catalog is known as Synth Riders, because this is a beat-based game that will also give you a workout at the same time. Because here, you will have to hit the colorful balls and follow the patterns precisely on the tunes of some awesome music. But while you might think at first that this sounds easy, the difficulty can go all the way up to absolute god level. But the main reason why it is so nice to play right now is is because they completely redesigned their UI. So if you've played it already before, then you will finally get to see some big improvements. This goes from the top menu that now quickly lets you access challenges and experiences so that you can much more easily explore these modes, to also a cleaned up modifier menu and some general quality of life changes. That includes things like improved navigation and visibility throughout menus, to the overall experience feeling so much more polished. So basically, it is a great addictive game that I absolutely love, and it also makes you work up a sweat while playing it. But another title we must talk about is known as In-Depth Unchained, especially if you love some archery, because in here you will be fighting your way through a floating castle of medieval fantasy with nothing else but a bow and arrow in your hands. And since it is a roguelite, it will also adapt to the player's skill levels during your gameplay. But if you feel more like a chill experience, then there's also Walkabout Mini Golf. Now this absolute gem might not sound that crazy at first, but it just works so well when inside virtual reality, because not only does the physics feel exactly the same as they would in real life, it is because it is played in VR that you can go on some crazy courses that otherwise just wouldn't be possible. And with lots of hidden balls to discover and places to play on, it quickly becomes clear why this game became so popular. Now the base game itself has over 8 unique 18-hole courses, with additional DLC available for those who want, although these are sadly not included with Quest Plus, of course. But if you do have a friend that has some of this DLC, then you can play it with them together for free, so that's something to keep in mind. But moving on, is that if you are a Dungeons & Dragons fan, then you should definitely check out Demeo, since this is basically D&D inside VR, where you can simply pick a character and class and tackle randomly generated dungeons with your friends. And because of this randomized concept, this also makes sure that every time you boot it up, it feels like a complete new experience. And since the developers have now included a total of 5 main campaign modes over the year, there is more than enough content for you to battle through. But we also have some honorable mentions, like for example Until You Fall, that is a fast-paced roguelike hack and slash, or Onward, that is also known for its hardcore fanbase and intense first-person shooting. While on the complete other side of the spectrum, there are also some more calming experiences, like Tetris Effect Connect and Puzzling Places, which are perfect if you just want to wind down after all that intense action. Either way, with many more games still there, you are sure to find at least a couple of titles that you will enjoy. But that gets us to the price, because while you might have a 3 or 1 month trial for free included with your Quest, after this period is finished, you will get charged each following month a total of $8. Now of course, you can also choose to stop your subscription before your trial period ends, so that in that way you don't ever have to pay anything at all. However, if you want to play all of them, including the big games like Asgard Draft 2, then you might be a bit short on time. And in that case, extending it will probably save you some money in the long term, especially when including the 2 new titles that get added to it every month. Either way, I'll of course leave a link for Quest Plus in the description below. But that gets us to the final conclusion. Meta Quest Plus is the subscription service for Quest headsets that can quickly unlock a bunch of must-play VR games for you. And since most users have a 3-month trial for free anyways, it is an absolute must to use on day one. And even when your trial has eventually ended, or if you have used it already in the past, in a lot of cases it would actually be cheaper than buying each game individually. But that's not all, because there are also some other must-play VR games for your Quest headset. So click on a video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out. And of course, stay awesome.